special treat. Someone who I am privileged to call a good friend of mine. And as far as meeting our DEI requirements, today is going to be the first Asian guest and the first Asian car here on the show. I'm none other than Jason Teixeira. Jason, how are you?
Oh, good. And I'm honored to be your first DEI guest and saddened that you've got this far without representing the Asian folks. But that's okay.
It's okay. This is going to not only upgrade, it's going to up our grading curve, but it's also going to up our credit score. So we have both going for us here.
Okay. So there's a couple edits on the intro.
Yeah, we'll edit all that out. I always say that, but I never do.
I was going to say, you say that like 25 times the way I watch. Oh, we're going to edit that out.
So, you made a purchase. You brought in, what'd you bring us today?
I purchased a 1987 Toyota MR2. Mark 1, to be specific. Mark 1B. We're getting really specific.
We are. Thank you.
Yes, because maybe one of the 23 viewers is a nerd of MR2s, like me. And it's a Mark 1B because it was made in late 1987.
So then, is the Mark III that one that like is the 2002 one?
Yes. So the Mark 1 is the only one that has a formal A and B because the chassis are a little different. The 85 and 86 doesn't have that strut bar. Remember that strut bar in the front that you've seen? And it doesn't have some of the other stuff on the bottom. The tie rods are smaller. The transaxle is weaker. So they did this mid-year update in 86 and a half. So that's why I was kind of looking for 87, 80, 89. So then the Mark II is that rounder one.
Yeah.
Which still has the option to have T-tops. That's 90, it's technically 91 to 95, I think. Those are the ones that came with the turbocharged as an option as well.
Right, and that little snorkel thing on the side, right?
And the snorkel thing, if you wanted to make it extra ugly. But this 87's got what they call it the AW11. Where they come up with this stuff. Because it's actually a 4AGE motor.
I always find it interesting that the Japanese motors always say like 4GTE or 4L, but they don't use those. They don't use those letters.
No.
No. Why isn't it called like house character, like stickman, and like, box thing?
All right. Your social credit score just went down 1.
But, it's interesting. Like, yeah. I would never make a car that is, that would not have my own characters in it.
Well, maybe it means something to them.
True.
Yeah. Maybe, it's like Elon Musk and fucking AEX12, his kids or whatever the fuck those names
I think
are.
it's pronounced X. That whole thing, I think it's just pronounced
the
X.
Kid? The kid? It's just X?
Yeah. Just X. And, we haven't seen a kid named like this since probably, Blanket in the early 90s, right?
Blanket.
Remember Blanket?
I remember Blanket. You put him out the window.
You remember the South Park Blanket? Yeah. Now none of them go by Blanket today though. So which one was Blanket? Is it Prince Michael? I think it might be that one.
I haven't kept track
See, if
of
we had
Blanket.
you'd be fact checking.
You know what's really interesting? If you watch this, you'd probably think we were on meth because we're sweating our ass off in here. We need to get you the fucking AC unit in here.
We do.
And we just came out of a car that has no air conditioning and no tops. And it's like 96 degrees. So, yeah. Anyways, meth. Just for the viewers, the rest of the viewers out there.
We're trying to be period specific here, and we're trying to stick into 1987.
That's true.
Okay? Remember, we're talking about E.T.'s coming out pretty soon. Hey, I heard they're even saying they're making another Star Wars. Yeah, in snow. So
when did that one come out too?
Oh wait, no, that was 1980.
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, Star Wars has been out now.
What, 79, 80, 81?
Yeah, I guess it would be 83 when The Return of the Jedi came out, right? And this is 87, so no then. So yeah, we're just talking about E.T.
Well, in 87, they were probably still talking about movies like Cobra and Over the Top. You know, Cobra just came out. Stallone.
And Sidekicks, right?
And Sidekicks. Yeah.
Sidekicks, yeah. There's fucking flies in here, man. I feel like
it's all that math.
No, I feel like what's that vice president guy? What's his name with the white head? Mike Pence. I feel like Mike Pence, can land here and I'm gonna lose the election. It's like an omen, Because didn't it land on Hillary in the first in 2016?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to flies or really anything political.
That's why we're in the situation we're in.
It's true.
Nobody was paying attention to the flies.
Yeah, but would have mattered. That's the question. So going back to my 4AGE, they used interesting designation for supercharged models because Mark 1s did have an option for supercharger.
Right.
It's a roots blower, true roots blower. They made that as options in 88 and 89. You could also, if you got a supercharge, you could have ordered Recaro seats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they go for like $4,000 used, just the seats, which is insane. But those are so hard to find. But that's essentially the Mark 1, the 85 to 89. But this one has the options that were on my must-have, which is T-tops.
Yeah, that's killer.
I mean, what the hell are you going to get that thing for without T-tops? And really, has the little mud flap off-road package.
I saw those. Those are delightful.
So the rally, it was like some rally package, and it came with that deck spoiler and the mud flaps.
I always find
have mud flaps.
It's interesting where it's like, this is the rally package, but then it's like, oh, I'm gonna creep sideways over this speed bump. Because it's like.
Well, the tie rods are like pencils. Yeah. The tie rods look like
believe
pencils.
Me, I'd be doing the same thing if I had the car. I'd be doing the same thing. I do with my car that's like non-rally.
Yeah.
It's like.
You should get a shot of them tie rods, and you're like, is that a number 2 pencil? I swear to God, it looks like it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got to be able to upgrade that, right?
Yeah. You can. But people don't break them, apparently.
Really?
But yeah, I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff. Well, let's go through the finish of MR2 history, right? Because this is interesting. This gets interesting.
So we're on Mark II.
So now we go on Mark II.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Mark II is the rounder
turbo
version.
Option.
Now you have an option for a turbo. You still had the T-top option, but and still has pop-up headlights. So the turbos in any sort of decent condition go from 30 to 50 and up. The turbo models. Hayes is selling one right now for 30. It has 168,000 miles on it. 1993 turbo. And they'll probably get 30.
Damn. That's more than that sold for new.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah, quite a bit more. Especially
like 3 times as much, right?
Well, I mean, if you put inflation, yeah, it's like, what?
Well, if you put inflation, then it's,
But even without, I think it's like 12 more-ish than it was in 93.
Wow.
And then you get to the Mark III, which, if you recall, one of our friends' mom had. Do you remember that? Won't name names. Some Italians.
Does it rhyme with bike?
It might.
Or bicycle?
It might. Anyways, Bike's mother had a Mark III, and they called that the MR2 Spider.
Yeah, the Spider.
And those you can pick up for like $100 and a nickel or whatever.
A pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, a pack of cigarettes. Reds. Nobody wants them. I think.
Why though?
Well, I'm trying to remember. There's reasons. First of all, they got rid of the T-tops. Oh, I think they're mostly, if not all, convertibles only.
And they were all naturally aspirated, right?
All naturally aspirated, and they put some pile of shit, Camry motor in there or something. The motor had issues. But there's something else. There was something like structural with it where I think the handling was total dog shit, where they went to like full subframes. And there's a structural issue with the chassis that it could never, ever handle like that.
Why?
I don't know. Never driven one. Apparently it's a piece of shit, though. You can pick it up for $100 and a nickel. And it looks like shit.
It does look like shit, yeah. There's still rear-wheel drive and mid-engine, though, right?
I don't know.
They gotta be. It can't be an MR2 if it's not.
It must be. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do too much research on that Gen 3s or Mark 3s because I have no interest.
Well, I read that there was this MR2 model that they made that they had to make, and I'm pretty sure it's the Mark II version, but they made it for this special race or something that they were in, and they had to make a factory car that was road legal in order to enter this race. You have to at least sell one factory legal car that's exactly the same specs.
Are you thinking Group B rally?
I'm not sure. It did not look like a rally car because it was a little bit elongated, it looked like. Mm-hmm. But they had dropped a 400 horsepower Lexus motor into it. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know if you'd be able... that's some chassis modification, but that's got to be...
It was probably the rally one. So they tried to... On the Mark 1s, this version... there used to be something called Group B Rally. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Group B Rally had absolutely no rules. None. No safety rules. No limits on anything. So they were running like nitromethane, twin turbo, crazy ass shit. And you're right, though, that Toyota tried to enter it with the MR2. And they put some fucking V8 or something in there.
Yeah.
And it was so unstable that it was undrivable. And they had to cut the chassis in half and lengthen it by like a foot and a half.
Yes.
To try to get some stability.
It's the same one.
So when they did that, they lost a bunch of the original handling characteristics.
Right.
Of course. Because now your wheelbase is all jacked up. But you can go in a straight line going 150, which is a plus. But from what I've read, essentially right when they finish that, and you're right, to enter Group B, the only requirement is that you have to have a production model.
Right. So there's somebody out there cruising around with one of these things.
I think it actually got destroyed. That's like one of the most, it's like MR2 nerd spank bank material, the original prototype one. I think they chopped it up.
Fuck.
But there is, side note, and I can actually send you those videos. In 1987 and 88, TRD made a version for what now we know as autocross. They called it Japanese Formula Street or something. Think of autocross. It was like in a fucking parking lot and shit. Well, they made a TRD version of it, drove the fucking piss out of it. I think it was the same motor. They turboed it. But they moved the motor 2 inches, I want to say like towards the passenger side to get perfect weight distribution front to rear and left to right. So the center of gravity is like dead center, as low as you can get.
Because they accounted for having a person there?
With the person, with the driver.
Interesting.
And then this famous guy, I should know his name. No.
Guess he ain't that famous.
It's true. Oh, man. But he fucking ripped the hell out of this car, dude. The videos of it, he's shredding. And I think he won like 2 or 3 championships or something in a row.
On like the autocross?
It's just autocross. The way I look at it is autocross.
So you're going hard around the turns, but you're really never getting above like 40 or 50.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So shitload of tight turning, autocross. And that car is fucking made for autocross.
Oh, yeah. I mean... If you cause I could tell. I mean, it's just like you remember that one of those the first cars we ever worked on was an MR2 because we had one in an auto shop.
Oh yeah.
Remember that yellow one? It was
the
Mark
yellow.
II.
That was Mark
It was a Mark II. It had the turbo snorkel on it. It was yellow.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of people were like, hey, I want to buy this.
Everyone.
Mr. Harvey would not sell it because it was like, we had a...
Everyone wanted to buy it, if I recall.
Well, because we had the front engine rear-wheel drive car, which was a V8 that... it was like a Oldsmobile or something, or Buick.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the rear-wheel drive rear engine car, which was that.
Mid-engine.
Yeah, or mid-engine, yeah. Well, and then we had the front engine front-wheel drive. And then we had, I think...
Which, wasn't that like a Civic or something?
It was something like that, but then we had...
But there was a truck in there, too.
I don't know. I don't remember the truck. I think that was Harvey's truck.
Or maybe it was his truck that I got in my head right now. Yeah, it was his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a single cab Chevy.
Was it a Chevy? It was like an 80s, right? 80s or early 90s. Yeah.
Single cab.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you're an auto shop teacher, you have a single cab. And you may have a single cab long bed, okay?
So true.
Because he's like, fuck it. I don't want anybody riding with me. I'm hauling car parts with this, if anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the beauty of that thing. Went to lunch today, and like 4 people were like, hey, you want to go lunch? And I'm like, yeah, I'll drive. Well, I got one seat. So, you want to go? The person that, it's like, all right, well, I'll see you later. Like, there's kind of a beauty to that.
What made you want to get it? What made you want to, because you have your 4Runner already.
I do.
Which we have not seen yet. We will, shortly.
Yeah, the 4Runner will come around. So I do have the 1985 4Runner. And I got that because of the way that my current employer works for gas and vehicle reimbursements. The details don't matter, but essentially the best mileage you can get out of the car, the more you get.
Oh, okay.
So I was driving the truck, which gets, 17 and a half-ish. What really wasn't working.
When you don't drive it in a fun way.
Well, yeah, and then it's a truck. And, well, then also I'm trying to park downtown, and you got all the meth heads taking a dump, in between them little tiny spots and all that. So the truck doesn't even fit down there.
Taking a dump and leaving a dump at the same time sometimes.
And leaving a dump. Yesterday I seen him ripping out wires of a light pole.
Yeah, they splice
while it was
shit.
on.
They splice into it, yeah.
It was on. The light was on.
Mm-hmm. They'll splice into it, and they'll get, they'll power a TV, or they'll power a hairdryer, or they'll power something, yeah.
You're talking about 240 volts, at least.
Dude, these guys that I had on the last week, they were talking, like, they don't only do that to the electrical, they do that to data stuff, too. Like, the little tiny little data closets that are there that, like, Comcast will put in or something.
Sure.
They can get in there, and they can get internet. They caught somebody, I guess, checking and seeing where an Amazon package was delivered. And legend has it, that's how they found that sex doll. Anyway, tune in.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that one about the sex doll.
But
so to answer your question, I was looking at how do you get the most mileage? Now, as you know, I've had a Volkswagen TDI.
That was before they got in trouble.
Before they got in trouble, which is a whole different story. How genius that is. And I didn't want another one. There's, it's just I don't know. Yes, it got 48 miles a gallon. There's something I can't quite put my finger on with the Volkswagens. I didn't want one, whether it was new or whatever. Oh, and then obviously I didn't want a payment. Didn't want a car payment.
Well, yeah, of course not.
Yeah. So I'm like, what are my options here, really? Like a Prius, that sucks.
Goes without saying.
Yeah. So then you go down and you stand your list, Corollas, Accords, you name it. Front wheel drive, front engine. And I'm just like, fuck, there's got to be something else.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I should get a 2-seater. Because I don't have anything that's a 2-seater. Everything is 4 seats. It'd be kind of nice to go, don't have enough seats.
Sorry, only one kid. Fight for it.
Yeah, fight for it. Yeah. So I was thinking, what the hell is 2 seats now even? Anyways, somehow stumbled down the rabbit hole of MR2s and then was looking for a couple months. Didn't think I was going to find one because they go for Stupid money.
Yeah.
And then stumbled on this one. And I know Jaime's not watching. And you know what? Fuck Jaime anyways. You didn't pass Smog in December. You're full of shit.
Well, so...
Anyways, doesn't matter. So I find somebody that doesn't know how to use the internet or phones or really much of anything, which is fine, except for he lied about Smog. Anyways, got it for probably about half or a third of what it's actually worth.
So that was, but that
you know,
was
Joe Rogan would never fucking text people.
Hold on, I think I got to unlock the door. The kids got to get her fucking lyric binder.
That's good.
Jeez, we may or may not have her
lyric
book because apparently they were trying to get a hold of me while I was here. That's why we need Drew here.
Drew, where are you at, buddy? We need you.
It's always good to have another set of eyes there, but should we drive it around? Let's take it for a spin.
Sure.
All right. Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The legendary 1988 MR2. 87 MR2. That was just a test. See if you guys noticed. So you got the jack here in the front, in the frunk. Easily one of the cleanest MR2s around.
Do you want me to give you the grand tour?
Yeah, why don't you give us the grand tour?
All right. So yeah, like you said, start at the front. You got your frunk. You got your factory 1987 jack. You got your factory 1987 Toyota wrenches. And most importantly, you have your flip-up headlights that are operated on a vacuum system.
Oh yeah, vacuum system. You know, they did that with even 60s Camaros too.
Right. The same exact system, because there is no power going to pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. Factory strut tower, and then behind here is the brake booster and the clutch master cylinder.
Look at this, even like plastic factory, cover.
All factory.
Look at this.
This is all factory. This is all padded.
This is wild.
This
God.
Rolled out in 1987.
This car has honestly never seen a meth head.
No, and lots of them that I looked at were meth the fuck out.
Wow.
Original windshield. I looked it up. 87.
Wow. So wait. So this hasn't even had any rock chips in it then.
Which is mind-boggling. 79,000 miles on it still. We'll come back to the interior because that's the worst. It got left out.
Hold on. We're getting to the most important part. God. Okay. No, I'm talking about the T-tops.
Oh, okay. T-tops.
Yeah, maybe the second most important part.
Yeah. Okay,
but so look at this.
T-tops, you got a couple things going on with the T-tops here. So first of all, they have their own seatbelt covers and harnesses.
No.
Factory 1987. Both sides. So you slip them in their little covers, and then they have their own little seat belts.
Are these original seats?
Original. There's not one aftermarket part on this entire car. Not one.
Holy shit.
Not one.
This looks like you just bought it off the lot and you just took it to go see E.T. and you know, maybe you spilled some Reese's Pieces in here.
Yeah, not a single aftermarket part. No.
Yeah, these T-tops will probably remain off for a while unless you have to park it outside, which you won't.
I had to park it in downtown Sac today, so I could put them on.
So what do we got with
So then we keep moving back, and you got your spoiler, which adds another 5 horse at least.
Ooh.
And
that
then
is clutch.
Right. By the way, they sell these used for like $800. It's
ballin'.
mind-boggling. So then you got your massive 1.6 liter 4-cylinder, and there's a lot of really cool, weird things I've already found in a couple of days. One of them is that the air filter is in the trunk.
Really?
and it looks like a cinnamon roll.
Oh, damn.
So back here, again, all original panels here in the trunk, like original. The ones I looked at never had any of these. They're all just bare.
Yeah.
So then you got your air filter, which they call the cinnamon roll.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually kind of smart because, well, one, it's in the trunk, but if you trace this out, it's actually tied to an intake that's part of this intake, which is a functional intake.
Oh.
So there's a tube that goes around and, you know, cold air-ish.
So is the other one non-functional?
What other one?
The other gill?
There is no other gill.
There is no other gill?
Negative.
What the fuck is this? Not symmetrical?
Not symmetrical.
Oh my god. This is when Toyota was like, I don't even care.
I don't care. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if this is symmetrical or not. Wow.
So then, I got all my shit in the trunk, but...
Factory backpack, coat hanger,
but
just in case you get pregnant.
It's actually kind of big. Like, I had tools in here this morning, and I had two big-ass actuators, but
God, this is such good... Like, oh my god, dude.
I mean, I barely vacuumed it, too. I haven't even cleaned it.
You can't buy a car,
washed it yet.
like, 25 years newer than this and have it be in this condition, you know?
Yep. So we go all the way around. Oh, if you wanted to look, all factory exhaust, factory cat, 100% stock. Stock.
For now.
For now.
Ooh, little tow hitch. Tow your RV behind that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
105 horsepower. I'm not sure how much you're towing here.
Wow. All right. What we got interior wise?
All right. Interior is what needs the most help. Here, we're gonna leave this on here because there's like a glue stain that drives me nuts.
A glue stain?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Or a thwack, what do they call it?
A Hoctua?
Hoctua or a glue stain, one of the two.
Hold on here. Hold on.
Okay.
What is this? Oh my god, that looks like Freddy Krueger's dick.
It is definitely Freddy Krueger's dick.
If anybody could use a Hoctua, it's this thing right here.
The only reason I haven't taken it apart because I wanted to make sure you got your fucking Thor's dick or whatever on there, because it's real bad.
You see, this is a problem with internet porn. It's everything you want, and you don't even need you just go to town.
Then you have your ashtray. You know, got to be able to smoke cigarettes with your tops off.
You know?
Radio only, not even a tape player. You know, don't need that extra weight.
Hell yeah.
Wipers, and then of course your pop-up headlight switch. Very important. Clock works like a charm. Oh, and then you have this little console here.
Holy damn, look at that.
You know, hold your drugs or whatever.
You can hide your playing cards in there.
Yeah.
Poker chips.
No cup holders. So, you know, you don't need that.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, you got 2 speakers in the back, 2 in the front. What really bugs me is, of course, the dash
cracking.
Cracks.
Yeah, it's gonna do that with sun.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is this thing here? This little tiny hole.
Good question. Don't know. I don't know. It looks like there was something there, huh?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, but other than that, standard 5-speed clutch is pretty damn heavy. Obviously, no power windows, no power anything.
Check that red line out.
No power steering. Nothing.
Wow.
So
that's up there.
Yeah. You want to take a cruise? So there's the
Here we are.
Oh, best part. Ready for it?
Oh, look at that! Ta-da. You know what? You need to wire it up so that it only does one.
That's what Kayla said.
Do like a wink.
A wink. You'll feel that hiccup. You feel it like launch at like 3, and it's just when it's below like 2,800 RPMs. It's so weird. But like normal driving, it's nice.
I wonder if that could almost be tuned out. This is OBD1 though, right?
OBD none.
What, really?
you have to use a paper clip to tune it.
Oh, yeah, then it's OBD1.
Oh, then
Yeah.
it is. Shit. I think I'm making my way back to your place, right?
I think so.
I think so. Totally knew where we were going.
All right.
Another 80s monster.
See?
I love the jalopy waves.
He'll be on the show next week.
Is he really?
No.
Yeah,
Could be, though. I don't know. You never know.
Let's go track him down.
Everyone wants to get caught the moment. Like and subscribe.
More giant speed bumps. Clutch is kind of weird, huh?
It is, but it's the stick that's the weirder thing. Not because of the chafing, but because it's like I can feel almost like a bone inside there that like goes that way. You know, I can feel how it curves.
Yeah, it's the inside of Thor's penis, I think.
Well, it's Freddy's, right?
For Freddy.
Frederick Krueger, I think. Oh, I see that.
You felt it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Want to test your flip-up headlights?
Can we flip them?
Easy. It's vacuum. Go slow.
Oh, so what's this
That's
middle?
parking lights.
Parking lights?
And then one more clicky. Regulars. There's back to parking lights. And then there they go.
It's like you tell them to turn off and they're like, yes, we'll turn off, and then they go down. You know, it's like there's a little bit of like,
Yeah.
they react to what you're telling them.
I think it's a vacuum delay of the vacuum pump shutting and opening. It does put a smile on your face when you drive it, though. That's
Yeah,
the weird
it's
thing.
fun, you know?
Yeah. You're not going to win any quarter mile anything. But
Was it 105 horsepower?
factory rated at, I think 104 horse, 72 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
Yep.
Feels almost torquier than it should be.
It does feel like it has more than 74 foot-pounds. All right, back to home base. Whew.
Man, that was sweet.
Ooh, what a spin.
Yeah, it drives really well. So I noticed what you meant about you mentioned that the smog, you had an issue with the smog and you had
Yes.
that stumble.
Yeah, the stumble. Yeah. So wrapping up on why I bought it, the mileage, it gets, depending how you drive it, 38, 32, 36, 26, who knows? A lot better than the truck.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So then this, talk about Jaime, getting it from Jaime. So it was found by a friend on the side of the road with a barely legible handwritten note that said for sale. I wind up getting a hold of him. Doesn't know how to actually use the phone. So it took a while to get him on the phone. No texting.
Oh, wait, no texting? So you actually
Nope.
had to call him and get him to answer.
He can text okay. Those letters, okay. That's the most I got.
Is it a parrot that you bought this from?
Not a parrot.
A human being.
Human being.
Son of a bitch.
Human being. Yeah. So then he got a bunch of paperwork, all the service records, 70,000-ish original miles. Runs awesome. So naturally, per California law, Jaime, go smog it, blah, blah, blah. Well, to do that, I want the asking price. I'm not going to give him that. And I go, well, you have current tags on this. I'm holding your registration. You must have just got it smogged. Oh, yeah, in December. Perfect. Go down there and get the smog cert so I can see the values. Be easy. Be back tomorrow. Sounds good. Come back tomorrow. Oh, I can't get the papers. Red flag. So I talked him down a couple hundred more because that wasn't the deal. And I knew he took a risk. Went to go smog it yesterday. Everything passed except for, of course, California makes you have between 2 and 3,000 RPMs at exactly 25 miles an hour on a roller. And there's a bog that you felt only from 2,000, 2,200, 2,600 RPMs. That's the only point is the bog. Of course, that's right where 25 miles an hour in second gear. Bam, fail. So, let's talk about what I'm going to do to it. First of all, Freddy Krueger, excuse me. I keep getting hammers and phallics mixed up.
Don't know the difference between a hammer and a hemorrhoid, huh?
It's all that Hawk-Tua swirling. So, got short throw shifter, step one. Let's call it step one. Short throw shifter, weighted shift knob, interior, trim pieces, every single fluid, anything that Jaime touched at all. Tie rods, bushings. That's essentially all the maintenance stuff I would do on a 40-year-old car, no matter what. You know, stock Toyota distributor, cap, rotors, wires, blah, 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 blah. I think it failed because Jaime had a fucking cinnamon roll for an air filter.
Oh.
And so all that sugar and, Hawk-Tua went down into the intake.
He got that Cinnabon, bro. He got that Cinnabon.
I think he's Cinnabonging like a motherfucker in there, right? So I'm hoping that the butterfly valve on the throttle body has just full of Hawk-Tua, and we just gotta move on, clean it up, but still gonna do the rest stuff anyways. So step one. Step two, drop an SW20 motor in it, which is our aforementioned Mark II.
Right.
93 to 95, which is a direct bolt-in replacement with the transaxle and everything, turbo motor, bone stock, 265 horse. So you put a tune, you put your own mapping, couple little things, making 280.
Exhaust, intake, tune.
Exhaust.
You could get
fucking have a stack.
I'd probably run a 300 stack. For
probably 300.
For not that much.
Not that much.
But how do you find those motors? You have to get one out of one? You have to pick it out?
Be the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably at some point have to drive to Texas or, Oklahoma or buttfuck Egypt somewhere.
Oklahoma, the MR2 capital of the world.
Fucking Tokyo. Somewhere. Yeah. That is the challenge. And the motor, blown motor, like blown head gasket, missing a turbo, probably be as much as I paid for the entire car.
Well, I mean, when it's all said and done, right, you're going to possibly, I don't know, 10 seconds, that's up there for that, right? 12?
I don't know, dude. If you think about it, weighs 2,000 pounds, 265 horsepower. I don't know. I would think 11s in a quarter. So? Yeah. 11.5. That's scooting.
Well, we also have that gentleman's agreement where it's a trade for trade here, where, because you want that painted.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to need some electrical work on the Camaro.
Oh, yes.
So it's,
All right. So I'll just pick up my Toyota code 089 wind chill. I think there's some fucking wind something. It's just pearl white. Factory.
Yeah.
Toyota pearl white. Yeah.
It'll look good, though.
Hopefully.
Like
tint the windows. Oh, yeah. And then obviously tint the windows and wheels.
Right.
But keep all the factory.
You gonna do like gold wire?
Wheels?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could. I've been looking at some crazy wheels. Or even better, and you may, it's a hit or miss, right? Because you're doing those red emblems that you said, because you showed me crazy
the picture,
chicken?
the crazy chicken.
It's factory.
Yeah. So maybe red. Maybe
but
red
blue
wheels.
Interior. I don't know. Wheels, I have to be very careful. You could make that thing look like the biggest pile of shit in the world with crappy wheels on it.
Or you could make it look like the most badass thing with awesome wheels one day, and then the most badass thing was on blocks the next.
That's true.
You know?
I need to get locking lug nuts.
But it's like, with that car, nobody's out there, like, looking for sweet 15-inch rims.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Hey, bro, I scored these 15 by 7s.
Yeah. Nobody's out there, like, scoring 15 inches, you know?
I think the JDM guys are. But you're right.
I mean,
the majority of people, are not on the hunt for 15s, hopefully.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got that going for you, but I do see, I mean, when you drive it places, you drive it to your work or whatever, you have to park it outside, and it's a piece of history, you know, because it's not like an insurance company sees that and they'll be like, well, that's from 1988. Here's $600.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But, you know, anybody that knows cars knows that that's like, those are hard to find. We just had, when we were out there, we just had somebody stop and talk about it.
I tell you, it's like that 6th person in 3 days.
That's what happens when, a lot of times when we do the show, you know, somebody sees the car, they're like, oh, wow, you know, my grandpa used to have one of those. Or, hey, I used to have one of those.
Yeah.
And, you know,
which is really most of the fun. It's just like driving the 4Runner around, you know.
Yeah.
Most people stare at it and they go, what the fuck even is that thing?
And because it came from a time when automotive technology was progressing pretty well, but it was in a gray area between carburation and fuel injection. And it was like, in that area, cars are just destined to suck. You know, they're destined to be shitty. Like, the Chevy TBIs.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Spider injection.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What was it? That was
not great.
That was in between ideas. That was.
It was.
Yeah, you know, it was like.
But goddamn, you remember how good the seats were in that truck, though? The one that had TBI that I had?
Oh, yeah.
Best seats. Those are like two.
Yeah.
So fun.
Well, it was just like the command center, remember? My Suburban. The
old 2-gear, no reverse.
2-gear, no reverse, yeah. That's right, everyone. It had a 97 Suburban. Only first and third had no. What was it? Yeah, it was first and third and no reverse. It didn't have second or fourth or
correct.
Reverse.
Or first, third. That's all you got. And feet.
That was all you needed, though. That and like 3 people to help you back up.
If you want to be in the Flintstones, sure.
All right, man. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
We'll have you on. We'll have you on with the runner next.
I had a water. Yeah, I'll bring the runner. Or maybe I'll bring them both. Maybe to wife, we'll drive the MR2 and then I'll bring the runner.
Wow.
Get a real 80s Toyota thing going.
Ooh, maybe our first Mormon guest, too. All right. What a treat, everyone. Stay tuned. See ya.